Tell me why. I don't care what nobody says. Give me anytime, anywhere. Oh God, I love me soca. Oh gosh, I love me soca. Tell me why I love me soca so. I don't know.
WEFM is SVG.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
We are back with more talk time here on Activated Mornings with Roleza and Dianna. And right now, Kingsley DeFreitas, as he is on the line to bring us his usual morning commentary. Kingsley, good morning.
Good morning. Everything you do, you have to have a level of commitment. As simple as calling to the radio. And I do listen to Pigeon's presentation, and I find this one this morning interesting. Why I say that? My father was a taxi driver, and he worked his entire life to provide and put food on the table. From where I'm sitting, I didn't think he did extremely well as a taxi driver. I observed other persons involved in the taxi business. They kept their family going. And whenever the time came when they could not have produced as they used to, we see where they fell into difficulty in maintaining their lifestyle and their standards. And most of us as taxi drivers, we aspire to at least own a home. I could call about 5 taxi drivers, but I won't call the name, who I see struggling after being successful taxi drivers. And when Pigeon spoke this morning, my mind ran right back on most of them. And it's frightening because I'm not currently married. I don't have a fiancé at the moment. And I'm at that age where I'm still getting slower and slower. And I blame certain things to that. And the main ingredient for my slowness for the last couple of years is I'm convinced that when I took the vaccine, I had a negative turn in terms of progress and mobility. And the thought where Pigeon presented this morning came to my mind. I say, what would be my position in the next 10 years? And if I could survive the way I'm surviving today. And with the reality that I'm facing, I say, Pigeon really right, you know. I mean, so I'm making an appeal to self-employed persons. And I took the opportunity when Dr. Gonsalves opened the window at the NIS for self-employees to become a member. I mean, I paying, and I get the impression that while I have to have over 750 payments, when I reach 65, am I going to live 10 years after? So I sit and I wonder, that investment that the NIS are making, how progressive it is. And I have a friend who listens to this program, and apparently they've told me, Kingsley, you make an extra effort to pay, but it used to be $140 per month. But since he has a reform and they're trying to raise the contribution, it is now $240 a month. I have at least 3 to 4 more years before I reach the 750 payment. After I reach that, I am convinced that I'm not going to live much longer than that. So I'm asking myself, an investment that I'm making in the NIS, will I really benefit the way I should? And it's really confusing. And for people listening and you're self-employed, and the ones who walk in and you think because you're young and you're vibrant now, pay attention to yourself because you will find yourself in a position that you will not be able to live the life that you're currently living. My father was from an era where he thinks that the children that he produced over time in marriage should be responsible for the final days of their life. Well, today that has changed. Young people are starting with families earlier, and they're taking responsibility for them and their families. Their parents and their children, grandparents is an afterthought. And when pigeons walk this morning, I pay attention because I look around and I could identify several people that I know who walk and made tremendous contributions. But today, they're struggling to put food on the table. And they might not give you that impression, but we know what we're talking about. So I want people to tell them and think, when pigeons come with these provocative rants and things, pay attention, because you might find yourself in one of these situations one of these days, and it might not be what you planned, but because of the circumstances that you're living under. Tough economic time and information is going in, lack of opportunities, and these financial institutions that we depend on, when they up, or when they have to pay out. For instance, a simple example: if you get an accident with a vehicle and you go to your insurance, the amount of red tape you got to go through before they could accept responsibility. Before they accept responsibility, it's just before they come and pay your money. So I will take what people say seriously, and I'll have a wonderful weekend. Miss Summer, are you going to church tomorrow?
No.
You not go to church tomorrow?
I actually don't go to church. I don't.
Oh, you're a bad example of a Christian girl, boy.
But no, I never said I was a Christian either. I live in a Christian society.
You listen carefully. And anyhow, I'll enjoy the rest of the day and tell them Monday morning.
See you on Tuesday, Kingsley.
Tuesday. Oh, yeah. I got so much free time, man.
No, we still working. We still working, man.
Okay, then. Take care.
All right, take care, and you be good and you be safe as well. Enjoy the weekend.
All right.
All right.
All right, so that was Kingsley there with his commentary, just supporting the point that Pigeon made earlier. Now, when Pigeon brought up that topic this morning, honestly, the very first thing that came to my mind is one of the things that you and Anita said, the way that, some men live their lives when they are young. And when they get to an old age, ain't nobody there for them. But all I could think of is it's because of how you lived when you were younger. So the point was already made, and that's the only thing that at the moment that I still can think of as to why some men end up alone in their old age. Now, that obviously may not be the only reason, but I notice, and a lot of persons have said this, a lot of men, when they're younger, they figure, yeah, this is the time to spree, this is the time to do it. And I honestly feel that's how we raise them, and this is how we train our children. If we really pay attention to it, we train them just like this, and they get to that particular age now where they need somebody. Because I'm being honest, my father was not there for me when I was growing up, and he was driving a van. I remember going to school and I'd walk up to this man's van. Good afternoon, Daddy. And saying Daddy sounded so strange to me. So sometimes I would even leave it off. I would just say good afternoon, and he would say good afternoon, and he would watch me. I watch him, he watch me, I watch him, he watch me, I watch him. And then I guess when I find that I stood long enough, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going over here to get van. I'm telling you, Roleza, I never promised the world I'm a nice person. If that man is alone in his old age, I'm not going there.
Okay, when you
so
went,
that
okay, hold on.
serious.
Wait, was I trying to understand? When you went to him and both y'all doing the staring off
That's all he
competition.
does.
What would no? But when you went to him, what was the purpose? What was
Well,
your expectation?
I was to have some kind of conversation. I don't know, ask me maybe how was school today. Look at $20 so you could pay van to go school tomorrow or something. It was nothing. He still drives the van. He would pass you on the road. He would just watch you. And me, I just watch him back.
Oh wow.
You understand? It's not just me. Other siblings have said the same thing. He just watch me. It's just a watching contest. So I've heard somebody told me the other day how he say, I reach big woman now and I feel like this and I don't talk to he, but really, I hope he listening and I want him to meet me and say that to me. I know he would not. But how dare you? You know exactly what you did, but now you're going around telling people, acting as if you were there in my life. You are not. You don't know how my books were bought. You don't know how know how my mother got uniform for me to go to school. You don't know who she had to beg and borrow from. You don't know how my sexy subjects were paid. You will be alone in your old age if none of your other children go to you, because I will not. I do not care.
Yeah. Okay, this is well. I mean, I think from your vantage point, but I didn't grow up with my father either. But our relationship is not like that, right? And I think it has gotten better over time as I became an adult, and the reason why for me I could not. Good morning, pops. But this is not a case where it's necessarily forgiveness. But it's a case where, because I've already gone through the worst, I don't hold the resentment towards him. All right. So this is why I could have regular conversations with him. You know, we would talk about different stuff and that kind of thing. So we are in an okay place now. I too don't call him daddy, right? And I think it drives him nuts that I don't call him daddy. I was a Mr. Well, people know I was a Mr. Llewellyn, or, you know, if I talk to him to somebody else, I'll say Leroy. But I don't ever call him daddy. And I think he has to understand, and I want to hope that he understands that, because I did not grow up calling him daddy. It's difficult for me now to say to him, like, to call him that, right? But our situation is definitely not like yours. But I do understand where you're coming from. And this is one of the things that I was saying is that, you know, there's a song, Mind Your Pick-Me. The children need a daddy. Later you will be sorry. When it comes to that line that says later you will be sorry, I don't know how many men actually understand what it says. You have children, and after a while, these children get older. They swell your nose. You're proud to say that these children are your children. You're ready to, you know, brag and boast about them. But where were you when they were growing up? Where were you when the mother was struggling? Where were you when the mothers had to find a village to help to raise them? You know, so this is it. So, but in my case, no, I can't say that neither my mother nor my father, if they get down to old age and something happens to them where they can't help themselves, I would not neglect any of them. Rather, I will not neglect any of them, right? Because as I said, I have gone past the worst. I have been able to stand on my own. My mother did what she did for me up to the age of 18, and I took it from there, right? But for men in particular, I don't even know if they make an effort. You know, I don't know how many of them actually try to make an effort. Hi, Coach. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I could understand where you ladies coming from, because I have a daughter, and I was on the receiving end of having to leave St. Vincent and come to America. And she felt different that I abandoned her, you know, that kind of way. Well, no, but over the years, now that she came and lived up here with me and all that kind of stuff, we kind of got past that. But the main reason why a lot of men have to live by themselves is because they don't prepare for the after age, you know. You know, if you live a life of having to spend money around friends to keep friends, naturally that's what you're for doing your old age too. If you don't have it, all them people who used to be around you. They always say when you have the money, you have friends. When you don't have the money, you have no friends. It's the same thing happens to your old age. It's like if you spend money to keep friends, you have to constantly keep spending money to keep people around you. So if your lifestyle is like that, and you're not, you know, caring and loving for the people who you have in your life, what you expect when you reach a certain age, you're going to just suddenly wake up. Oh, my dad is alone. I need to go and take care of him. No, you have to prepare that person. I'm not saying every child that you have, because you got children, you know. I know children, the father give them everything, and when they reach a certain age, they're gone too. You know what I mean? So it's not all children will stick around, even though you treat them nice. But if you don't prepare your foundation for your age after 60 or 65, well, no, because people living longer. Kingsley, be careful. Don't say but you only have 5 years, because people living longer than the Social Security they're putting well, they call it INS. Man living longer than what they're putting. That's why right now in America, they're trying to see if they could make you work until the 70. I'm glad I won't be around for that.
Yeah.
Walk until you're 70, I don't see how that will work out for me.
Exactly. You might be surprised, you know, Kojo. I mean, there are some persons who, when they get older, they also don't know what to do with themselves. So walking also helps to keep them going. Yes, Kojo.
I started in Grafton since when I was 14 years old. I do not want to be walking in my 70s.
Okay.
That'll be too much years of walking on earth.
Well, when you get to that age, we would have this conversation again, right? Because you might end up telling me how you're waking up bored, you ain't no way to do it yourself, yeah, I need to find something to do. We would have that conversation when you're 70, okay?
So there's not plenty place for this call still enough.
All right, cool, Kojo.
I can wake up in the morning and say, let me go down and put on me and see where they are in the bushes. Up in some place. We have plenty of places to discover, yeah?
All right, Kojo.
but the base of the whole thing is you have to prepare for your age after work, after everything else.
Yes.
Plan something in your life, you know. Create a hobby, you know. A lot of people don't even do a little sketching, a little bit of sewing, and a little bit of
some hobby. Hobby.
Yeah. So when you retire, you could do those. Probably you could even make money off your hobby.
Yeah.
So you know. Yeah. So you have to prepare for them things, because your kids could die before you too, even though you are kids. So you can't just assume that you have kids and the kids go there wrong. They could die before you, you know. So.
All right. Thanks, Kojo. All right.
No problem.
All right. All right. So yeah, anything else? Okay. So I just to say something final. As we have in this conversation, I was reminded of the song "Cats in the Cradle" by Harry Chaplin, and it's about a song about a son who wasn't spending time. A father who wasn't spending time with his son while his son was growing up. And when the father got older, he wanted for the child to spend time with him. But the essence of it is that there's a cycle that happens in life. And parts of what Kojo was saying is the interesting thing is that, you know, what some parents might be complaining about now, you might start complaining about with your son when he gets older, because one of the things that you have to recognize is that children, as they get older, they become adults, they take on different responsibilities, they start families of their own. They may not be living here in SVG. And as Kojo correctly said, you have to prepare. So you with your one son might choose to go and live in Australia. You're going to find yourself alone. So you have to also somebody was saying investing in your children, but it's not so much for me about investing in your children. You as the parent also have to invest in your future, because your child will not always be around. All right.
And they have their own lives to live.
Exactly. That's the other thing as well, you know. So I think not to try to put that sort of pressure on your child or your children, because they would want to experience life for themselves. The reason why many parents work hard is so that their child could have a better life. And sometimes this better life means that they're not going to be here in SVG to look after you, you know. So parents too have to stop and think about how they themselves are preparing for their future. You might have a whatless child, right? But your child just might not be around for whatever reason as well. So something else to think about.
All right, and I think with that, we can head out of this talk segment. Remember, we have Cop Chat in just a few minutes. It is now 8:04, and this time check came to us by the New Haven Funeral Home.
Death